sun damage. It needs to be buffed out, wet sanded, and then re-clear coated. The paint is sound. It's a crack in the driver's windshield, which has not gotten any bigger and has not affected any of the safety of driving. The mirrors probably would need to be re-chromed. If you're fanatical, they're the original mirrors. We'll just go around. This bumper folds down, as I believe most of them do, and that has the a large drawer in there in this original spare tire compartment. Intercom is new. Connects to a telephone next to the bed. She'll get into that. This is a aftermarket security system which has been installed since we owned it. I've never fooled with it. I think it's a gimmick. If you can come through this door, that security system isn't going to stop you. The tires, all 8 tires are less than 3 years old and probably 8,000 miles on them. They were all replaced at the same time. I replaced hub seals as needed about a month ago. This has 14 opening windows, so all the pundits that say there's no windows in a Prevost, they're incorrect. The only 2 of these windows that don't open are the 2 at the headboard in the bedroom. They're dummies. A&E awning, we opened it once just to prove it opens. I have a thing about awnings that open and billow while you're going down the road, so I have the awning secured with a hose clamp. Every compartment has a 115 volt receptacle. This joey bed extends 8 feet on this side and 8 feet on the other side. You can load or unload it from either side. These are a couple of the spare hub seals that I didn't need. They go with it. The original paint. It was painted by Prevost, or contracted by Prevost originally, and it's the paint that's been on it the whole time. I have touched up several parts of it, but it's such a complicated paint job that it's easy to just mask off one color and repair it. This originally had a refrigerator, a freezer, and a stereo. It now has toolboxes. The storage behind that toolbox, storage in that drawer, and just a simple toolbox. Drawer, spare mirrors. I didn't need them, but I had them. Batteries, battery compartment. There are 12 golf cart batteries in here. I had AGM batteries. They blew up in the middle of Texas, literally, and I went back to flooded batteries. I'll never use AGM batteries again. AGM batteries are not rated for the temperatures that are run here. 2 solar controllers, switches, cut the solar panels on or off. There's 2,000 watts of solar on the roof. There's one of the original Hart inverters behind here, and a new triplet inverter as spare. You run one at a time. And the golf cart batteries are, what, maybe 2 years old?
I think, yeah, that's about right, I think. We bought new at Costco.
Yeah. This is the water bay, water drain for the freshwater tank, black water tank, gray water tank. As with all tank indicators, including the ones on this brand new Class C, don't work. So you can check your levels through these windows where you can actually see the tank. And again, 115 volt. Okay. The 4 starting batteries are 4 Group 31s. They're less than a month old. As you can see, I haven't taken the cores back yet to get my core charge back. It has one thing that's a little different. It has a buddy plug, which is a 50 amp service to anyone you want to share power with. I believe the owners previous to me had a stacker trailer that they sold goods from for 6 months until they froze all the batteries up in Canada. Detroit 60. A new starter comes with it. It's just the junk oil and oil filter and whatever compartment. I figured that the one item that would stop me on the road is if I had a bad starter. I could always call somebody out to put a starter in if I had a starter. Detroit 60. It's cold. Have not started it in 2 or 3 weeks. Airbag tensions the driver's air compressor and the T-box for the fan. Rear start. Air cleaner, 7.5 kW 24 volt alternator. I think that's probably standard, but this is the only one I've ever owned. It appears that the previous owner, the original owner, didn't spare much money on maintenance. He All the hoses and connectors and everything are silicone rubber. I've never had any problem with any of it. The only problem we had with the engine at all was the starting batteries. Those were the original batteries that were in it when we bought it. The selling dealer put 4 new batteries in it and we just replaced them. And it was time.
We bought it in October 2010.
These are the 2 dummy windows I was talking about. They're real windows, but they're blocked off behind. And that's not a real awning.
They're
It's just to
behind.
look.
They're behind the headboard in the bedroom.
Holy shit. Comes with wasps, so I'll get a wasp spray out here and get those. Aqua Hot. 2 pumps. You run 1 water pump at a time. All mechanical valving. I like the way Angola did the conversion. If Prevost installed it and it worked, they left it alone. No iPad controlled doors or anything like that. It comes with a brand new Aqua Hot. So, $12,000. I got a really good buy on it, and I haven't put it on yet. I haven't had a reason to put it on. But this is probably in need of a tune-up, or if you're familiar with them, it'll start every time you don't need it. I mean, and that's just the truth. If it's cold and you're lonely and you hit the burner, it won't do anything. On a day like today, it'll probably light right off. Generator. It has a lot of hours on it. It has 7,060 hours. I believe that when Marathon took this in trade from the original owner, that they went through it a little bit, but it's been flawless.
Very quiet.
Never had a complaint from a neighbor about the generator noise. And all these starts are cold. I have not pre-done anything. The generator has its own starting battery. And that is a Yanmar 4-cylinder turbocharged engine coupled to a Martin diesel generator. And it's been great. It's a nice one to have. Its own pull-outs, slides. You release the latches and pull it out to get to the back, but there's nothing to get through on the back. This is for the first owner's wife's jewelry. I use it to carry anything I want to. Spare circuit board for the lighting system inside. spare latches for the drawers inside.
Any spares that you see in this comes with it.
And again, 115. Every bay has 115. More drawer hardware and catches. Whenever I ordered the latches and catches, I ordered enough to replace all of them. Fuel filters and oil filters. The backside of the same Joey bed. Spare belts for the engine, brand new. They come with it. The wide belts and the 3 belts for the air conditioning. Haven't had to need them. I look at them every time we go somewhere. Electrical. This is chassis body electric. Here's the diagram. Every wire, every connection, what it goes to. If you have one of these little relays go out, you just pick one that's not critical, swap them out. There are no fuses on the Prevost. They're all aircraft, well, on this Prevost, they're all aircraft circuit breakers. And that's about that. The fuses that you see are for the security system, the CB radio that was installed, that kind of stuff. Nothing having to do with the build of the Prevost. And I'm just going to tell you, that's the air compartment. That's got the Nordgren valves. Well, let me see. I maybe get to get it up without running to get a screwdriver. Yes. And there's your air controls, your air leveling, and the distribution, and the engine computer, and that's the steering box. You want me to do the driver's compartment, or are you going to do it?
Yes, it would be nice if you would. You understand the controls better than I do. 4 air horns.
And a spotlight.
And a spotlight.
I have never spotlighted anyone, so.
But we have air horned people.
And I thought that Prevost brakes were a little on the mushy side until last year, coming through Corinth, Mississippi. I had to make a relatively abrupt stop and locked up the front wheels. That was sort of an e-ticket ride. I mean, didn't lose control or anything, but having your front wheels lock up will be interesting. Colors of the interior are out of date.
But they're not so old that they're in fashion again.
Okay, you need. Oh, when I started the engine from the rear, you can start the engine from the rear, but if you start the engine from the rear, you cannot drive the bus. The controls up here do not work on a rear start. You have to come up here and start it from the front. You probably already know all that. The rear view monitor is obsolete. Stereo is new. There's a radar detector that I have never left plugged in. Again, as I said, I liked what the converter did. This is an Angola coach, and I like the way they converted it. They left all of the original Prevost instrumentation. If you have a gauge fail, you can just go to your local Napa or whatever your choice is, buy a standard gauge and replace it. The clock even works. Never used the Citizens Band radio. Air horn, generator start, generator glow plug, generator auto start. The alarm that we don't use. Aqua hot, engine preheat, auxiliary air conditioning, AC1 or AC3. The way, AC being air conditioning, the way Angola designed this, the oil-cooled alternator provides enough 24 volts DC to the battery bank to feed the inverters to give you 115 volts, and you can run 2 of the roof airs going down the road. I've never done it. Actually, we've never run air conditioning going down the road. We came out of Las Vegas with it 107, and we were running the driver's air, and that was enough to keep the front of the bus cool. I don't know how they keep it insulated, but it worked for us. Door lock, remote lock, step slide, comes out and makes a level floor right here. The blinds are electric. Spotlight on, spotlight up, left, down, and right. I see we have some front dust with us still. A booster water pump in cold weather to boost the water flow from the engine through the heater. Docking lights, cornering lights, engine driven air conditioning on, and heater controls. Where the air is coming from, where it's going, speed of the blower, and temperature. And back here is the control for the intermittent wipers. Has a transmission retarder, and you turn it on over here on the side panel, and then you adjust the amount of retardation with this. Cruise control, baggage locking, something heated. Heated mirrors, I think, is what that is. If it's that bad, we go south. leveling is air leveled, level low. There is a valve right here that when you flip this valve back, it raises the tag axle off the ground for a tighter turn. I think I've used it twice. Once was where I had 2 inches for the turn to spare, and once when we bought it just to see if it worked. Air ride seat. You can tell when you're ready to drive because the last thing that gets air in the coach as it airs up is this seat. So when you feel yourself rise up, then you're good to go. You got more than enough air for the brakes. The digital temperature gauge works wonderfully. Wish I could buy one like it.
The backup camera is obsolete, but it does work.
Yes, but it's black and white CRT. Cola's in Indiana has one, a used one for sale, if you ever want to keep in stock. Controls for the mirrors. Both of the mirrors are power. The power and remotely adjustable, the convex and the big one. We never use that television. You can't see it from anywhere in here. The last owners spent $14,000 on gadgets at Marathon. Chassis battery charger, engine preheat, both legs of AC, amps for both legs, inverter. I made the mistake when I first bought it of running both inverters in parallel. It didn't hurt anything but the batteries. So I'm only running the A-leg inverter. House volts, generator volts, and 24 volt starting. This is the cabinet of obsolete electronics.
CD changer.
CD changer. And alarm. And behind that door is the electronics for the door buttons that we never used. This is just a very secure vehicle. We neither one of us are the kind of people that run around expecting someone to break in on us. And like I said, if you can come through that stainless steel door after we locked it, you're welcome to the money I have. This has a dog when you start the engine. And the engines, you start traveling. This air ram is an air ram that drives this dog out into a slot in the door, and that's automatic. And so that piece of 1/2 inch wedge shaped steel goes into the door, and the door is locked. The stories that people will tell you about, oh, my buddy had a buddy who had a buddy and his wife fell out that door and got run over. Doesn't
He's
happen.
lying.
Doesn't happen. Sherry's going to tell you all the nice, good stuff now. You need any help?
Now, there's a flat floor that is air controlled that slides out so that if you're using this seat, you don't have to stand up over the steps. I've never used it. I think he put it out twice just to make sure it worked. But
Well, I showed the last people that looked at it. that
oh,
it
did
worked.
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it worked.
Yeah, it works. It's just it's useless.
You have to have air built up.
Yeah, it's just but it's useless. I don't really care one way or the other
Like I
about
said,
it.
that's an air ride truck seat, well upholstered. This is something that looks like out of a General Motors.
This is a nice,
It is
comfy
powered.
seat. It's got powered footrest. Very nice.
And I'll get rid of the wasps
You swear?
Yeah, I swear.
Okay. Then now for the interior, the carpet. You can't make him take his shoes off when he comes in. The carpet has been tracked up with the stuff from diesel stations. So I have shampooed it, and this is what's left. In my opinion, it should be replaced. We had a 32-inch TV that sat on that ledge, and that was what we used for watching TV. The sofa here is actually 3 powered recliners. So we would sit in either end and then let the cat sit in the middle. This is where the switch is, and you can see how the seat comes up. It's a 0 clearance recliner, so it doesn't hit the wall. And now I'm going to take a minute to turn on all the lights so it'll look real pretty in the video. Everything is on little LED touch switches except the ones here. This is for the fiber optics over the bed and the living room. This is for the side lights, the ones here. These are also on a dimmer. But everything else is on the little micro switches. And you can see some of the pretty lights. Turning on more lights. We have a nice fluorescent light in the kitchen, so it's nice and bright. The dinette is on a raised floor. You might want to take it out, you might want to leave it in. The hubby installed it so we would be sitting high enough up to be able to see out the windows while we were eating. When we were just sitting in regular chairs flat on the floor, neither of us was tall enough to see out the window. The double sink with Corian covers. All counters are Corian. This is a neat piece of origami.